What's going on, everybody? This is Jibreel Salam.
And Mohamed Hassan.
And you're listening to the Young and Muslim Podcast.
We're bringing that fire and that heat today.
And we're bringing the blessings of peace.
Yes.
Oh, the grains of peace.
Yes.
I butchered that.
It's a greeting and a blessing.
Hey.
Yeah, prayer all together.
Thanks for bringing that back, bro.
I got you, bro, you know. Like I said, one of us having a bad day, the other one got to pick this.
Oh, damn, I think it's having a bad day. Just kind of mixed up. But but for the people who are out there having a bad day, whether they're having a good day, whether they're having an okay day, we hope you're doing extremely well today. Because any day that you wake up, you winning. Any day you're blessed. Yeah. Hey, if you woke up today, you winning. Yeah. And that's the truth. So be grateful for the days you got. Be grateful for the days that you've seen, and inshallah the days that you will get coming for you in the future.
Hey, we gotta use that time wisely.
Absolutely.
Speaking about time, I actually saw something online, Jibreel, that I wanted to share with you, right?
Word.
It was something in regards to how we spend our time as Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
And, excuse me, it was shared by Mariah Idrisi.
Mm-hmm.
Maria Idrisi. And when I saw this, I was like, oh, hold on. I was like, I definitely got a comment in the shares with Jibreel. She said,
Word.
I think one of the biggest issues in the Muslim community is our thirst to be right all the time instead of our thirst for knowledge in the Deen. Have you seen that yourself? Have you experienced that?
For people, yeah. I mean, I think that's people in general. I mean, if we're speaking specifically to religion, yeah, still I've seen it. But I think that's a very big issue that we have as human beings in general. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that's just a Muslim problem. I think that's a problem with, any person.
You know what they say, that like the smartest man is the man that knows he doesn't know anything at all. Right. So that's the same exact thing with that. I mean, especially I see who we're getting advice from. The people that are giving advices, they have sometimes they have no credentials, and they're the ones talking the most. They're the ones that just allowed us, whether they've seen something online or heard something that they said. Some people just like hearing their own voice, but then other people, I think other people sincerely are trying to do the right thing, but they don't know that they're causing harm, right? So for example, they see something, they share something, and then they go all in about a specific topic, and then it's like, okay, can you reference this from anywhere? It's like,
I just feel this way.
Yeah,
I just feel like
I woke up like this.
A wise man once also said nothing at all.
Ooh.
Drizzy Drake, baby.
Drizzy? Was that Drizzy?
I tell you, Drake there's a Drake lyric for every aspect of life.
Drake is popping off right now. I think because he's at the top.
You know why? Cause I'm on one.
Yeah, because he's on top. He's picking like battles and shots with everybody out there. Like, oh,
bro, because my man is on. But not to get away from the topic, right? We can talk about Drizzy Drake all day. I think that a lot of people have a lot of pride, they have a lot of arrogance, and they don't allow themselves to be students. Everybody wants to be the teacher and the lecturer, right? We have a lot of people who like to preach, but they don't like to practice. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, social media does help with that, because like, a lot of people, once they say something, they don't want to face the repercussions. Also, they might post something online and just walk away from the keyboard and cause like all havoc.
I said what I said.
If
you notice,
if you don't like this comment, hop off. If you
don't like what I said, then get off. Yeah. But one of our coworkers, Rio, he said something really interesting. He said, we live in an era, especially with President Trump. The reason why a lot of people vote for him is because they want to live and do the things that he's able to do. And what is he able to do? He's able to say and do things without any repercussions. He can say whatever he wants. He can say the most offensive things ever, and he can still pass it off as though, oh, like, I didn't mean it like that, right? We live in this area where people want to just be able to, they can give their opinion without really having to face any facts. And even when you bring facts, they can live in this state of denial because they know that somebody's going to reinforce what they think is correct or isn't correct.
Like, I got support in this issue, right? I got people behind me. Even if it's not the right thing, one thing I've learned is that you can make something look right even though it's not right. If you have enough support, if you have enough power, if you have enough momentum. So that goes back to what you were saying. So going back to this topic specifically, right? The biggest issue in the Muslim community is our thirst to be right. Like, even when I go in, right, I go into the mosque and I'm trying to seek knowledge, I'm trying to do something, and when I look at somebody and I have a question, they look at me like I'm dumb, right? And then when they go ahead and tell me, it's like, how do you not know that? right? It's like, how do you not know that? You should be known. That's like, okay. At least I came to seek the knowledge, right? That's what I did. I was like, dude, I'm here to learn. Like, I'm here to learn from people like you. But it's kind of tough because on the other end, it shows the arrogance. Like, you know, I should know. Like, you're kind of. I've been around some sheikhs like they feel a sense of just, you should be blessed to be around me. You know what I mean? I don't know how to kind of break it down. They're just like, I know everything. Like, I'm very holy. Like, if you want to ask me a question, like, you should at least come with some prerequisites. You have prerequisites. Yeah, that's what.
That's wild.
Prerequisites, like, okay, well, it's like, nah, you're not even worthy for me to even answer your question.
You know what I'm saying? Who's like that? Do you have, that reminds me of kind of like the Catholic Church and like with the priests and everything, like the bishops and, you know, the kingships and stuff, right? Because they would act as though they were like next to the king, and the king was next to Jesus Christ, holiness, right? And he was next to, and then, you know, next to God, whatever. So it's like they had this superiority complex where they felt as though everybody else was beneath them because they were, you know, automatically closer to God. However, if you know the history of the Roman Catholic Church, if you know the history of Catholicism, especially like in England, they didn't allow the people to actually understand the Bible. They didn't teach people how to read Latin. They didn't teach people, and so they kept them controlled through fear and ignorance. And we find that in Islam sometimes with certain, like you said, certain sheikhs, and not specifically in that way, but they like you said, they look down on people who don't know anything, but they're not teaching. So you're right. Like they have this. People do have this idea that, oh, I'm right and you're not, but who is out here really teaching me everything I need to know?
And not only that, because you're a sheikh, it doesn't mean you're right all the time. You know, like you're gonna make mistakes. You're human, but it's one of those things. Like, yes, if the sheikh said it, it has to be right. Don't fact check. Don't double check.
Even sometimes they be saying some stuff. I've had friends. I had a friend that went to California, and she said she went to Juma, and the imam was saying some reckless stuff, and she was like, "Yo, like, nah, that's not how we're supposed to behave." And she was like, "I couldn't even listen. Like, I just zoned out. She said she went to sleep."
Oh, wow.
I was like, "Wow, like, well, I don't know if she went to sleep, but I know like she left." And I was just like, "Yo, like, how can we have people who say such things that aren't in accordance to our religion, but then they claim that it's factual, that is right?" You know,
it's like, I mean, right now we're not coming at the sheikhs, but we're looking at our teachers, right? We're looking at the scholars that, you know, are supposed to help us be better individuals. But this also goes towards the online community too. You see those Twitter sheikhs that people just be online, be posting stuff. It's like, okay, like, this is this way, because listen, if you think another way, you're doing something haram, or your mind's all over the place. And then there's some other people that post stuff, it can be like regular individuals, about the Deen, and you're like, okay, well, is that really true? You know what I mean? And then they get real defensive. It's like, that's true. Like, well, why wouldn't it be true? It's like, well, have you ever looked at it from this perspective? And then like, oh, okay, well, if you do that, you're not being. If you look at it from that perspective, you're not quote unquote being a believer, right? You know what I'm saying? You don't have faith. It's like, dang, just because I'm questioning, you're saying I don't have faith. It's like, dude, I'm like, okay, have you ever thought about it? Have you ever looked at it from this way? You can't look at it from that way as a Muslim. You know what I'm saying?
Islam is the religion that is supposed to liberate our thinking. Is here to liberate people from slavery, right? It's freeing the mental slaves. And I see so many times where you have people that try to enslave others with Islam. Like, dude, I've seen grown men try to enslave their wives with the religion by trying to oppress them, right? And this isn't some like, oh, overseas. Maybe it's like a cultural thing or whatever, but this is like people that live here in America.
It's universal.
You know what I'm saying? And I see where people try to oppress one another or make people feel bad. They try and kill their self-esteem by telling them that they aren't good enough. You know what I mean? Where it's like, yo, who are you? You know what I'm saying? Who are you, just because I don't know so much about, you know, the religion, to tell me that I'm not good enough, right? Like, we're supposed to teach one another.
Not only that, I think this also goes outside the Muslim community into other communities, right?
Absolutely.
So when instead of having that interfaith dialogue and seeing how Christians look at things, the religion of Judaism, or even just like the Buddhist monks. And instead of going there and listening to them, like, I can't take any advice from those people because they're not Muslims, right? So they can't be right. Yeah. They can't be right about anything. You know what I mean? Instead of just like, okay, tell me more. Like, Islam was sent to the human. You know, it was sent to man. It was sent to mankind. So if it was sent to mankind, you have to understand everything that comes with mankind. Exactly. Right? You got to look at the full spectrum.
And it came at the tail end as well to be the seal.
So you have to learn.
You have to learn what came before. Man. It's like Imam Sadiq said. You have to learn about my day before I can learn about yours. You know what I'm saying? So in that sense, we have to have some sort of knowledge of why Allah's promise Allah makes no mistakes. Yeah. Okay. So if Allah makes no mistakes, why? Why are these other religions here? Why did they proceed? Why did they, come prior to Islam? Why was Islam the seal? So these are the questions we have to ask, and then we have to theologically and say, well, maybe Allah wanted to make it in increments. Maybe these are all stepping stones, and we have to look at each of these stepping stones, and then the seal,
the process,
is Islam. It's like filling up a water bottle. The water bottle doesn't fill from the top down; it fills from the bottom up. And then what you put a seal on it so the water doesn't fall out. So for us, to look at other people of different faiths and say, oh, like, what you're doing is wrong, or believing this is wrong, it's like Allah makes no mistakes, right? Man make mistakes, and then Allah, tries to help us out, correct us, and sends us, the prophets to guide us. And when, like, cause we had a discussion, and I was telling people, like, hey, like, I've had a Buddhist mentor, and one of the dudes was like, nah, like, I just feel like if they're not Muslim and they're not looking at the path that I'm on, then I can't really learn anything from them. But I'm like, dude, you can learn something from anybody.
That's what I'm saying. If the Prophet would have said that, peace and praise be upon him, like, I can't learn from anybody, Islam wouldn't have spread. Right? Look at all the different people.
They wouldn't have been alive. They wouldn't have made it through Medina. Yep. I remember Medina was a multicultural, religious environment. There were people of all different faiths there. There were Sabians, there were the Jews, there were the Christians, there were the atheists, there were the polytheists. You gotta remember, all those people resided in the same place, and the Prophet didn't go around just banging heads. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we some head buzzers.
Yeah, he didn't call out town stars. Like, that's not how it went down. So it's like at the same time, we have to be able to learn from people, even if we don't agree with how they live. We can still learn from somebody.
Dude, what? I mean, I'll look at it from the other side of the fence, right? Say, like, a Christian, like, Christian family's like, hey, don't talk to those Muslims because they don't have the right religion, right? They don't know about the way of God. Don't talk to them. But that wouldn't be right. So we have no right doing the same thing to them, right? I remember I was talking to one of my coworkers, my man JP, shout out. He's like, yo, Mo, today's mass. This was a while ago. I said this on one of the other episodes. He said, come out and share the experience with me, I was like, you know what? I'm not doing anything for lunch. I'll come with you. I went out there, and just learned, saw what they did. I didn't participate. Like, I didn't put the cross on my head or anything like that. I was like, yeah, what? I'm good. Because I'm 21. But also, I sat there and I really learned what he did. And he was so excited. He's like, man, I wouldn't expect a Muslim to step inside of a church or whatever. It's like, why? Right?
We're all brothers and sisters.
That's what we're all brothers and sisters, and we're here for what? We're here for God. So for me learning from you, and you're learning from me, we're both strengthening our knowledge. Right? And if a Christian wants to learn more about Islam, I would like them to come to the mosque. Yeah. And not even if they don't even want to learn about Islam, if they're from the community and want to find better ways to help empower the community.
Or how to have community outreach and dialogue with other communities. You know what I'm saying? Like that's important. Like, you have to know how to interact with the Christian brothers and sisters, because just like it was a while ago, I can't remember specifically when, but there was there was like persecution of Christians, and the Muslims stood around the church while the Christians went to church. And then the opposite happened when the Muslims wanted to pray, the Christians stood around the mosque to protect the mosque. So it's like, listen, there's solidarity and unity. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you aren't unified, there's leaks, there's holes in what we can learn. But when you're together, when you're solid, it's like we can learn so much.
That actually happened here at Dulles Airport in Sterling, right? In Dulles, Virginia. When the Muslim ban first came about, like, a whole bunch of Muslims went to the airport and kind of protested and everything like that. And when it was time for prayers, all Muslims went for prayers, and the other believers just surrounded them and protected them, from being bothered or anything like that.
That's right, in our area.
So, if you know everything, if you're always right, then why are you here? Like,
well, it's like we said before, you can't be a practicing Muslim if you think you know everything.
That's what I'm saying. If you make no mistakes, if you think you're perfect, well, you're at that point, you're an angel.
So let me ask you this then. So when it comes to parents, like, I've experienced it where, you think your parents don't like to concede to the fact that you are getting older, you're learning, and you can be right at some instance. Allah says respect your parents, however, your parents also have to respect you as well. And I think respecting your level of opinion, respecting your experiences that you've gone through,
respecting your curiosity, accepting those conversations.
Exactly. So your parents, I think it's a learning curve, right? Like nobody knows exactly what they're doing, right? So you kind of learn as you go, sort of doing life. And I think with parents, getting used to your kids knowing stuff, getting used to your kids knowing that your kids are viewing the world a different way than you, that they are living in a different time, I think it's difficult. However, in the same sense, they also have to know that they can't just be right about everything.
Right.
And they're so busy trying to be right that they're not making the right decision. What was the quote again? We live in a time where people want to be right.
It was said that I think one of the biggest issues in the Muslim community is our thirst to be right all the time instead of our thirst for knowledge. Yeah.
So again, that goes back to parents. Like, you might learn something, right? And it depends on the parents. Like, my parents are very open-minded, and they've been very supportive of the way I think and the way I move and finesse through the world, because I'm a finesser. I think that there are some times where, even if it's not religiously related, where your parents are like, nah, like, this isn't right, that's not how you do it, but you prove it. You prove that your theory is right, that the way you thought is right, and you still don't get that respect.
But not only that, they're quick to tell you what's right instead of like why it's right or how it's done. You know what I mean? They're quick to be like, oh, this is what you gotta do, this is what you gotta do, this is what you gotta do. It's like, man, thank you, I appreciate you protecting me, but it's like some things I want to not only experience on my own, but I really want to understand, like, why is it, like, why do you guys do what you do? Why is this right? Why is this wrong? Why should I say? It's like, the more you understand about it, the more you learn, because that's your thirst, right? Every time you ask why, it means you want to learn more, right? Typically, if you want to get to the point of anything, you have to ask why 3 times. For us, after you get to the second why, your parents probably already smacked you.
Even the first why.
Even the first one, yeah.
Why you asking me this question? Go sit down somewhere. So and I look, I do that with my sisters every now and then, right? I got a younger sister, she's annoying as a mug. But I think it becomes, you have to understand that we're all trying to learn as much as we can before we pass, right? For me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like, we're all trying to gain as much knowledge and as much information as possible to be the best version of ourselves. And within the Muslim community, there's this stigma on people who don't know.
Yeah, there is huge stigma. You don't know Arabic, you don't know Quran, you don't know that, you don't know this, you don't know this.
Then how are you Muslim? It's like, bro.
Like, why are you here? Like, why are you at the mosque? Basically.
Well, I don't even think it's why you're at the mosque. It's like going to the mosque is very limited. You're there to pray, period, right? But like, nobody, whenever you ask those questions, people never ask like, yo, like, oh, you should sign for our Arabic class. Oh, you should sign for this. You
have a lot of good questions, brother. Here's a class where you can find that knowledge.
Exactly. They never try and give you even if they answer your questions, you can't be with them 24/7.
Yeah.
But they just want to give you the answer and be like, yes, like, I am the person to ask. Well, it's like, well, even if I'm the wrong person to ask, even if I am the right person to ask, it's like, hey, I can help you, but try this. Go to this group. Oh, we have this group of students that discuss X, Y, and Z. Oh, you want to learn more Arabic? Oh, then you should go to here. This is a good place. You can start with the kid classes. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever it is important for those who have the responsibility. The people that have the knowledge. With great power comes great responsibility. Spider-Man. Oh, we busting out the quotes today.
Not only that, I feel like people want to take credit. Like, hey, it was because of me that Jibreel got back on the Deen. It was because of me that X, Y, and Z got. It's like, you know what? It was because of him. It's because of what he did, right? He's had some questions. I helped him, guide him, and that's it. Like, our job is to help. I don't to guide people because that's Allah's job, right? Our job is to kind of share our experience with the individual and tell them, like, hey, these are your sources, right? Go back to the Quran if you have a question. Ask somebody that actually knows these things, right? I think also on the other side, as the younger generation, we think we're always right too, right?
Yeah.
We think we're right about everything. Like, Mom, you don't know how it is anymore, you know? And I think we need to start seeking knowledge too. Like Jibreel talking about, you want to meet up with different mentors and different individuals around the area. Somebody that can relate to you on a cultural standpoint too, right? That can relate to you more than just the religion, because it's like in the community, people always want to be right because they want to be seen or deemed more holy. You know what I mean? Like, hey, if I'm wrong, that means I must not be doing the right things. It's like, no, I'm wrong because I'm learning, because I'm out there trying things too.
Have you seen the picture of the two people standing on opposite ends of the picture? No. And one of them is looking at, there's a 6 or a 9 in the middle between them. They say, is this a 6? One's like, no, it's a 6. The other was like, no, it's a 9. It's all about perspective, right?
Yeah.
A lot of things depend, like our culture does dictate how we think, right? Where we're from dictates how we think, how we perceive certain things. Our vantage point dictates our perception, right? So where are you placed? Like, do you have a lot of money? Do you have a little money? Do you have some money, right? Where do you reside currently? Who are you hanging out with? All these factors change up how we view every little detail, right? I remember as a kid, I used to think, man, if I look at this leaf right here, right, and it's green, is it the same green that you're seeing? And so when, like, sometimes, like, when people say, no, like, this is that color, they say, no, that is that color, and I will stop arguing, because I'm like, dude, what if, like, my sight is off? What if, like, you know how, like, the hue on the TV, the tint, and the hue, what if mine is, like, +1, and theirs is, like, -5? What if that's off?
What if it's that dress that we think is gold or blue?
Oh my God. What if it really is?
There's two different pictures out there. Somebody's actually controlling it.
I don't know. But I say all that to say that you can have a perspective on anything in the religion, right? And as long as it's not like some outlandish stuff, it's like, yeah, like, I think that means this. So like many hadiths where you have, you know, your thoughts and you're thinking like, oh, maybe it means this. But then somebody else can come and say, well, I think it also, in addition to, can mean X, Y, and Z. Instead of doing that, we have people that will just rip you apart. Right? And I think what my parents did as far as religion goes, they did an outstanding job of allowing me to think. And, you know, my dad would read me certain things in the Quran and say, okay, what do you think that means? And I would literally sit there and we would like talk through it and we would have discussion about it, because he knew that it was important for me to form my own ideals and then to refine it.
Okay.
Not to define my ideals and then leave. You gotta refine, not define.
Refine, not define. That's good. Because it comes from you. It comes from within, right?
Exactly.
It's your own way of thinking.
And I feel like as a kid, you have the ability, and I mean, I don't know, maybe it was just me as a kid, I don't know how it is for many kids out there, for many young adults. It's like, I feel like because you aren't so far removed, because you aren't so far removed from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you were literally just up in the heavens, it's like your ability to see, you know, certain things is more readily available. Like babies, I feel like are so spiritually aware. I mean, because they can't talk, can't walk, they can't do much of nothing. All they can do is be spiritually aware.
To be present.
Yeah, they can be present, right? And they probably see a lot of things that, you know, we don't see. Just like animals see certain things that humans don't see, right? They're more spiritually aware. Their soul is closer to the soul of the world. You know what I mean? Because they aren't too far removed. And then as time goes on, we get, you know, this grit and this dirt on us from experiences or whatever. Now we're trying to get back to this innocence of the baby. We're trying to get back to this mindset. Not even mindset. We're trying to get back to the reset of the soul, right? Where, like, understand the soul. I won't even say the baby understands its soul, right? But the baby knows its soul.
Okay.
You feel me?
Okay.
Like, it's in tune with it.
It's in tune. Yeah, exactly. It's in tune. Because some people know, but they're not in tune. Right? They're not.
Yeah, like, you understand, like, yeah, I have a soul, cool. But they just don't know how to vibe with their soul. Baby, like you said, baby's just a baby. Hey, baby.
Hey, baby.
Hey, baby. Hey, baby.
It's like at the end of the day.
Sorry, that was from Dave Chappelle, guys. I didn't
if
like.
you didn't know. But I think it's one of those things where it's okay to ask questions in the community, right? It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be curious. So if you're somebody out there and you don't know something, ask. That's the only way, that's the only way you're gonna know. But have that motivation to learn more. Have that motivation within your family to seek that knowledge. And there's different ways to seek knowledge. Like right now, I'm at the point where I'm just like, sometimes when I'm approaching things, I feel like I'm still learning. I don't know anything. I'm a student of life. It's like, if you say something, okay, I'll look it up. I'll add my perspective to it. But I'm gonna make sure that I go back and check the facts too. I think that's another thing we gotta do. Stop believing everything we hear from Muslims too in the community. Like you hear something like, oh, that has to be right because he's Muslim. You don't know who taught him. Did his dad teach him?
You gotta fact check. Right. You have to fact check.
You have to. So
you have to fact check. I caught this dude on Twitter trying to bash homosexuals, right? And he wasn't trying to bash them. He was trying to make it acceptable to go out and kill homosexuals. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then he pulled out. Man, I wish I could remember the story exactly. And it was basically saying like men and women acting in lewd behavior, yada yada yada, be punished, right? But he only used half of the ayat. And so I was like, whoa. So I went back, I found it, and so it was him in a conversation with another brother. So I went in and I was like, no, this is the full ayat. You can't use the Quran in context for your own liking. And then I went and pulled that ayat out where Allah said there'll be those who will only give parts and pieces to justify, their own wants and needs, right? And so I pulled that out on him, and dude had to shut up. You feel me? So like
page deactivated.
Yeah, you have been blocked. So it's like it's important for us to look at these people and say, no, like it's time to fact check you. You know what I'm saying? Like I would go in detail with that story, but it's irrelevant to the point. The point is there's people out here who are sincerely trying to influence others and tell people that it's justified through the Quran. Just like I said about women, I know plenty of women who've been married and their husbands would take advantage of their lack of knowledge of the Quran and the Hadith, and then they were trying to justify things they did with using the religion.
And tell the wife not to ask any questions. I
won't even say they would tell them not to ask any questions. The issue is that we have to remain hungry. We have to remain curious. It's like the latter part of that quote says, you're not seeking knowledge. You want to seek approval on being right, but you don't want to seek knowledge. And so I think with a lot of Muslims, we concede, just like the woman with the oppressing husband, we concede to these people who know more than us without doing proper research, without doing our due diligence. However, if we do our due diligence, we can't be controlled. When we learned people can't be controlled.
Oh man, that's on point. I think this topic is huge because it works for everybody, man. Like even for me, when I'm trying to teach my younger brothers and my younger sisters and the people that are surrounding me in my community, I want to make sure that what point that I'm going to, it's not to prove the fact that I'm right, but it's to prove the fact that I had my own way of thinking of how I got here, right? It's like, hey, look, this is how I think, this is how deep this is, how I break it down.
No, that was really good with what you were saying, Mo. But I kind of want to just sign off with this, that you have to teach people how to think and not what to think. You have to teach people where to fish, not fish for them.
Breaking barriers here.
You know what I'm saying? So that's extremely important, for all you people who feel as though you've been bogged down, or maybe you are somebody who's oppressing someone else's thinking. Maybe you have kids and you're not giving your kids the ability to interpret the religion and to learn the religion through their own common sense and knowledge, right? This podcast right here might be the episode where you say, man, like, what if I actually just ask my kids what they think? Read them a passage and say, what do you think this means? Well, it means this. Well, it could. That's a good suggestion. What do you think about, boom? It's a question game. It's learning. It's trying to learn and qualify and see if they're on the right track. And if they are on the right track, then you guide them back. But you can't force somebody to think the way that you think.
Okay. And it's trust. It's trust in there too. When somebody asks me what I think about it, like, hey, this guy actually cares. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He cares. He's not just trying to show me the way and that's it. He cares of how I get there, the way that I get there, and make sure that I stay on that path.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. So we would definitely like to hear from you guys, hear your opinions on this topic.
Yes. Is it true?
Yeah.
Right? Is it true? Do you think that's true? Do you think Muslims always want to be right instead of being understandable and trying to learn more about the Deen?
Leave us comments or send some DMs on whether, give us a time where you felt like you were being oppressed or people weren't letting you think. They were trying to tell you what to think instead of how to think. And give us an example where you saw people who just want to be right and they weren't really in thinking in a capacity where they want to learn. Because I think we've all run into people like that. That could be your parents, that could be yourself.
Whomever.
You know, give us a scenario where maybe you were that person, right? So thanks for listening, guys. We really appreciate it. And we as always, we love to engage with you guys outside the podcast because that's where we get the mojo, you know? That's where it all comes together. So it's really cool. It's really cool. And we really appreciate a lot of you guys and your perspectives and the comments. We really appreciate all the well wishes. So thank you. May Allah have mercy on all of you. May Allah bless all of you to strive and thrive and endure the hard parts and survive. You feel me, baby? Yeah. So
if you want to know where to DM us, Twitter, Instagram, that's probably the two platforms that we're most active. You can follow us, Young and Muslim. That's Young, the letter N, Muslim. No, don't forget, we're also on YouTube, so if you want to watch us and see how we're rolling on there too, make sure you subscribe and like us on Facebook. Facebook is something we get on every once in a while, right? But we still see what y'all be doing on there. We're still getting messages. We're still connecting with individuals, so we want to keep that going, inshallah.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's a good, quick podcast for your morning commute or your commute home. Maybe just chilling in the house with the fam bam. All right, but we got stuff to get to, and with that, we bid you adieu. So my name is Jibreel Salam.
This is Mohamed Hassan,
and you have been listening to the Young and Muslim podcast.
Yes, we would like to leave you with the greetings of peace.
Assalamu
alaikum.
Peace.
Goodbye.